This is Real Republican News, and I'm your host, Jason Mariner. Last segment, we talked about my commitment to you as a patriot to stand in the way of you and tyranny, to stand in the way of you and censorship, and to not let it happen. I'm not going away until your rights to speak freely are restored. I'm not going away until things change and these big tech monopolies are broken up. I've also made a commitment to tell everyone the truth and to speak it how it is. Something rarely done in the media these days. Nancy Pelosi, for instance, she's one of the people in government who we're constantly hearing from, constantly wanting to impeach President Trump without any legal grounds to do so. There's absolutely no merit, by the way, or possibility of legally impeaching President Trump just a few days before his term is over. They're only doing it so he can't run again. And they're going to do it by cheating if they do it, because there's no legal basis for it. There needs to be evidence. There needs to be a discovery phase. President Trump needs to form a legal defense and team. That doesn't happen in a few days. Due process cannot be carried out should they impeach him. If they do, they are not following U.S. law, and they're saying that due process no longer applies, nor does the Constitution. So watch out for that one. Nancy Pelosi tells the country she wants unity, but then all of a sudden, what happened on the 6th, which by the way has been condemned by every real Republican out there, every conservative and patriot, every constitutionalist, it was condemned widely, even by the president. But she goes on to say we need unity, but what happened at the Capitol was all because of people's whiteness. How cute is that? What happened there was because of whiteness, the color of people's skin. Now, last time I checked, and Nancy, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but the definition of being racist is by defining a group of people based on the color of their skin and not their actions. Am I wrong? Did I miss something somewhere? Because I'll happily recant on what I'm saying. So anyway, we all know the answer is yes, that is a racist statement to make. We all know that not everybody there was white or Anglo-Saxon or a big bad white man. There were all kinds of people. They had one thing in common, though. It wasn't whiteness. It was the fact that they were breaking the law and violating the Constitution and interrupting constitutional process and adherence as it took place. They also had another thing in common. They're not true Republicans. They're not real Republicans or constitutionalists. They stood in the way of the Constitution that day. And they made all of us look bad. But again, you call for unity, but you then say, well, it's just because of their whiteness. Well, I'm sorry, Nancy, but I kind of enjoy being white. And if you're black, you should enjoy being black. And if you're pink, you should certainly enjoy being pink. Because that would be cool and unique. And you'd probably be very rich because there's no pink people out there. I can change the color of my skin by getting tattoos, and I do quite frequently. But I do it because I like them, not because of my whiteness. I don't want to hide that. Just like you don't want to hide your blackness or brownness or yellowness or whateverness. Isn't this the time where we call for unity and such diversity, where we can have boys in the girls' locker rooms of high school if they just decide to flip a coin one day and decide that they swing the other direction? I've got 2 boys of my own. They're young. They're nowhere near high school. But I'll tell you this, if I have a daughter, there will be no boys around that locker room. I'll tell you that right now. But you call for unity and then you make comments like it's because of people's whiteness. Now, that just sows the seeds of division even deeper. It makes the roots of racism more prevalent in America, and it further divides us. And the reason that you divide us, I'm on to you. We've figured out what you're doing. You have absolutely zero unity amongst the radical left. You all have your own completely different and asinine ideas as to how to run this country, and none of you can get on the same page. You're like a bunch of chickens running around with your heads cut off. But the one thing, and I'll give you credit for this, because you're manipulative, but you're smart at the same time for doing it, you've seen the value in creating a common enemy. Because when you have a common enemy, your differences don't matter, and you form a united front. That's how the radical left operates. That's how you stick together and survive. There's two cards in your deck. It's either the race card or the cheat card. And you're playing them both. You can't tell people that certain people did things because of their whiteness. I haven't heard a single real Republican or conservative or constitutionalist say what happened on the 6th was okay. You know what else I haven't heard them say? I haven't heard anything about anybody's skin color regarding the violence that we saw out of the left for the past 4 years. None of that was ever because of anybody's whiteness, blackness, brownness, or redness. None of it. And if someone did say it, if someone went on the air and said, well, the left is doing this because of their blackness, there would be outrage. It's all you'd hear about. It would be the top story on every news station because it furthers your agenda. And your agenda is to divide the American people. You are playing a game with the American people. You're pitting us against one another. You're convincing people that it's because of their whiteness or their blackness. And it's not. It's because of you. It's because of bad politicians. It's because of politicians who don't serve the country and their constituents. It's because of politicians like you who have snuck their way into office because you campaign and you align yourself with rich people and you buy the results of the election. And that's how you get away without fulfilling any of your campaign promises. That's why you always let the American people down. And you don't care. All you want to do is be worth $200 million and blabber on and on at your podium about unity while sowing the seeds of division even deeper. It's ridiculous. And we're on to you. The 6th didn't happen because of whiteness any more than the riots on the West Coast happened because of anybody's blackness. It happened because they all have one thing in common. They don't follow the rule of law. They're criminals. They break the law. They violate the Constitution. They certainly don't uphold American ideals and beliefs. And they're certainly not people of God. That's what they have in common. It's not their whiteness or brownness or the color of their skin. This whole impeachment is one big charade. And shame on you, because this is dividing America even further. It's an absolute disgrace. You have absolutely zero ground to impeach President Trump. You need evidence. And then there needs to be a discovery phase where evidence is exchanged among lawyers. Oh, but wait, President Trump also needs to form a legal defense. But he's not going to get to do that because you're not going to acknowledge that there's due process in this country. You're going to just do it so he can't run in 2024 because he's that much of a threat to your $200 million fortune. He's that much of a threat maybe to your freedom. He should have locked everyone up when he had the chance. Our politicians are not held to the same standards as you and I. That's a problem. Black, white, red, or brown, if you go out and commit a crime, you're going to be arrested and we're going to be in the same cell. They commit a crime, they're going home. They're not even getting arrested. Hell, they're not even being charged or investigated. Do you see what's happening now? Do you see how they're telling you that, hey, that guy doesn't like you? And then they go over to the other guy and say, hey, that guy doesn't like you. But no one said anything about liking anyone. Everything was fine until you started rumors, national rumors, that it has to do with whiteness or brownness or blackness or redness or pinkness. You people in Washington are an absolute disgrace. You do not serve or represent the American people, and I, Jason Mariner, will stand in your way and tell people about it until you change and you're out of office. Because it's unacceptable to run a country that way. It's unacceptable to treat 300 million people that way. It's unacceptable to lie to us to get us to vote for you, and then you screw us over in the end. We the people are done with it. We're on to you, and we're going to keep talking about it. Until next time, my name is Jason Mariner, and I am the host of Real Republican News, and I am the absolute worst nightmare for the radical left, the tech tyrants, and anyone else out there trying to step on your constitutional rights. May God bless you, your families, those around you, and our great Constitution. Be well, everyone.